Hi, this is Don Lavange, and we're looking at ndMirror this morning. In the last video, we installed SQL Server, and we also installed the SQL Server Management Studio, which enables us to interact with the database. Here's the Management Studio here. Connect to it. This is the name of our SQL Express. I must not have clicked it. And as you can see here, I don't have an ndMirror database yet. Now, those of you that are experienced with SQL and you want to set the database up, you can do that, but we will create the database during the installation. All you really need to worry about for installing ndMirror after you've gotten SQL Server installed is that your user, in this particular case, you can see I'm using the domain user for this machine. I've logged into this machine with my standard administrator NetDocuments credentials. That particular user has under security here, under logins, if we look in properties and his server rules, her server rules, it's going to be sysadmin. That's the critical piece there. If you don't have those rights, somebody who installed this piece needs to give your installing user of ndMirror, that's the user that's going to install ndMirror, needs to have those rights. Sorry if this is like really obvious for everybody, but for some folks that are new, that are just wanting to use ndMirror, some of this stuff is new. So let's install ndMirror ships. We zip it, and all you have to do is run the exe, and we'll install whether it's an x86 or a 64-bit box, if your operating system is one of those. And you're going to go through and confirm where you want to put it. We don't recommend that you use the local system account. Instead, use a custom account. And this is the user that we set up before the video, actually. So let's just take a look at that. This user's already been set up. So we have an ndMirror user on this box. Notice that this is my main domain user, and this is the ndMirror user. And I'm not logged in as him, but he's the one that's going to be able to run the service. So I call this user ndMirror user, but actually you want to search for it. I apologize. You want to search for it rather than just try to type it. That will give you the fully qualified username and your password. Okay, so the next step is that we have to find that instance of a Microsoft SQL Server on our network. And so you can see up here I'm remoted in. It's D0345. Oops, I do that all the time. And this particular instance, and if you don't know your instance name, it's SQL Express. You can just copy that. For me, that's the name. Yours could be anything. You don't have to be connected to do this. And we're going to use Windows authentication. You certainly could use SQL Server authentication, but I'm not going to. Right now I can't test the connection because there is no database, but this is the database name that we're going to default to, and you can give it another name if you'd like. Don't go here unless you know exactly what you're doing. And now we'll just next. And ndMirror will create the database for you. It says doesn't exist. Would you like to create it? We'll say yes. Now the user, the ndMirror user, needs to be given rights. To allow ndMirror to access the database, access needs to be granted to that user that I created. Would you like to grant access? So this way you don't have to do that ahead of time. You could do it if you knew what you were doing. Our storage mechanism. I'm going to create a directory right off the root. This could obviously be a network drive. Let's just do that. I'll put it to a network drive, and I'll say ndMirror data, just so I know what it is. And we build a path up using these variables. And so, and this is how the data is going to get laid down. So for instance, if I would like the username of a document to be a level, a folder that documents are going to be stored in, I'd use %creator % in this case. I'm going to use my cab because I have multiple cabs. This is a nice way of distinguishing between them. And I am going to also say month, because this will give me a year-month value as a folder, and I'll say creator. Now I have also custom attributes, but I have a lot of different cabs and they don't all have the same custom attribute names. So this is the global path that I'm going to be using. And I might, I'll just leave it like that. And we'll say next. Now you can get email notifications. You're going to want to put in your server name. And this email is going to look like it's from me and to me. And I'll get my emails. So let's send a test email. If I've done that right, it'll send the test email. And over here on my other computer, I just got it. And let me just drag it over. So there's the test email. It worked. Next. This is the port that we're going to be accessing the dashboard on. And we're going to be we can access the dashboard using this ndMirror user from anywhere on this network. We also want to make sure that ndMirror has been added, the ndMirror user has been added to, there we go, to the dashboard. And I actually, obviously, dLavange can run the dashboard and ndMirror can run the dashboard. I could add other users that could run the dashboard. Answer those administrative prompts. And if we're successful, at the end of the installation, the dashboard will come up in the default browser. I think I have Chrome as my default browser here. Most of our testing was done in IE 11, which is because most of our customers use that. And installation was successful, and it wants to log me in, and I'm going to go ahead and use my ndMirror user. And I will let it remember me. Now I've set this up several times, and so this may not look exactly the way yours is going to look.